Hello Internet, it's Matt here for the Dork Lords. If you're new to the channel, welcome. We talk about all manner of dorkly things here, whether it's sci-fi, fantasy, superheroes. We probably have a playlist about it. Feel free to check us out. Today is another in our Dork Lord of the Rings segments. And for today's topic, I'm going to give my thoughts on the first 2 episodes of the Rings of Power, which just dropped on Amazon. Let me say that I'm going to cover the episodes in the typical Dork Lords recap format as well later this week, which should be interesting because I'll be recapping the show with Paul, who is not familiar with the books, so we'll be getting 2 different perspectives. And I'll go into more detail on the plot and such in that video. But this is a chance for me to give my initial impressions of episodes 1 and 2. And admittedly, it's been difficult to know how to frame my thoughts on the Rings of Power. I have issues with it, which I'll discuss in a second, but let me first start with the positives. The biggest positive is the scenery. The sets, the locations look stunning. Khazad-dûm, Lindon, Tirion, all are breathtakingly well conceived and immersive. And I like the rustic, no-frills look of Tir Harad as well. It's a nice contrast. The music works, serves a story, immerses us a little deeper into the setting of the show, and evokes memories of Howard Shore's soundtrack. I wasn't sure I'd like Politician Elrond, but Politician Elrond works for me, particularly his relationship with Prince Durin, likely soon to be Durin IV. I appreciated Durin's frustration at befriending a practically ageless being for whom 20 years is about right for another visit. I enjoyed the nice foreshadowing when Elrond touches the current Gate of Moria, soon to be replaced by the Doors of Moria, and he says, "All right then, my friend." Very much a speak friend and enter vibe there. And generally, I like the relationship between Eleanor and Poppy, the 2 Harfoots. They give off a Frodo-Sam vibe as well. Some of the other moments that I enjoyed actually highlight an aspect that weighs on me. I appreciated the little glimpses of the lore from the literature. The claw mark on the body of Finrod, implying he died as he did in the Silmarillion, fighting a werewolf with his bare hands. When Galadriel is in the grove of trees carved into monuments for elven heroes. One of them is her brother Finrod, but another is unquestionably Luthien and Huan, the Hound of Valinor, on whose quest Finrod met his end. I love seeing that reference. And the moment when Galadriel gazes up at the night sky and sees the Big Dipper, which is a major source of inspiration for elves in Tolkien's mythology. It was placed in the sky by Varda, Queen of the Valar, as a symbol to say they would aid the elves against Melkor. From the Silmarillion. "And high in the north at the challenge to Melkor, she, Varda, set the crown of 7 mighty stars to swing, Valasirka, the sickle of the Valar, and sign of doom." I mean, these references to Finrod's downfall and Luthien and the Valasirka are all examples of this show straining against the literary rights that it doesn't have. I had hoped, a fool's hope, that this show could somehow cobble together the rights it did possess to give us something resembling the Silmarillion. And after 2 episodes, that does not seem likely. I certainly realized that there would have to be characters and events added to the story, even if they did have the rights to the Silmarillion and Unfinished Tales, which they don't. So it's no surprise to see storylines that are made exclusively for the show. There are essentially 4 storylines at the moment. More to come later, I'm sure, but I think for the next 6 episodes of this season, we'll see the Eleanor Stranger plotline, the Galadriel, and now the Galadriel Halbrand plotline, the Bronwyn Arondir plotline, and the Elrond Durin Celebrimbor plotline. None of them is a storyline from the books. None. I suppose when Celebrimbor starts making the rings, it'll be, ha! I recognize that! But at the moment, this is unrecognizable as Second Age Middle-earth. It's competently made, and it's certainly squarely in the sword and sorcery fantasy genre, which is my favorite. So I'd have far fewer criticisms if it didn't have Lord of the Rings in the title. And I get it. I love the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings trilogy, and he took liberties with the source material, but at least he had the source material to draw from. Again, this is just based on 2 episodes, so things could change. But as it stands, in regards to taking liberties with the source material, I feel like this show has gone past the threshold where I feel less than enthused about it. That said, I've got friends who are really enjoying this show so far. Admittedly, most of them aren't familiar with the books, but if you are thrilled with this show, you're not alone. So please don't let me rain on your parade. This is all subjective. And I am intrigued to see where this series goes. I will be watching. So, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.